a coup d'etat took place in Niger. The president of Niger, Mohamed Bazoum, has been removed from power. It was actually carried out by his own personal palace guard, but it was supported by the military. Now, a lot of people have noted, particularly Nick Turse, who's probably I would say Nick Turse is probably the leading journalist in reporting on AFRICOM and military events that are taking place on the African continent. You can read him at The Intercept. The significance of this particular coup is that Niger is the host for $110 million American military base. In 2016, President Obama started building this $110 million military drone base in Agadez. The town is located on the southern fringe of the Sahara Desert. It's known as Air Base 201, known locally as Base Americani. It's the linchpin of the U.S. military archipelago of bases in North and West Africa, and a key part of America's wide-ranging intelligence, surveillance, and security efforts in the region. Now, the president of Niger is a staunch pro-American, pro-French leader in that part of the world. When Mali kicked the French army out of Mali, he welcomed them into Niger. So this is the person that was overthrown. But one of the things that Turse says, U.S. trained officers have been involved in at least 6 coups in neighboring Burkina Faso and Mali since 2012. In total since 2008, including Burkina Faso in 2014, 2015, 22, Gambia 2014, Guinea 2021, Mali 2012, 2020, and 2021, and Mauritania 2028. These soldiers have received military training primarily from the United States Africa Command. And so the question I raise, are these soldiers using U.S. military training to chart a more independent course of action for their countries? That definitely appears to be the case in Mali. So the question becomes now, are they going to keep the U.S. and French militaries out of Niger? In the video, you saw a lot of people who were protesting in the streets carrying Russian flags. Okay? Now, I'd rather for them to be carrying red, black, and green flags, just a flag for the entire liberation of the African continent. But that's what we see. So this could be a very, 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 very significant event that has taken place, in Niger, primarily because this base that Barack Obama built that came now to a total cost of $110 million could in fact be taken over by soldiers that are not pro-U.S. and pro-France.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very significant event. Now, we don't know which way these soldiers are going. We know how the soldiers that pulled off the coup in Mali, we know which way they have gone. They have gone towards independence. They have kicked the French out. Okay? So that's something that we here in the diaspora need to keep our eyes on. Because what we're talking about is the total liberation and empowerment of African people. All 1.4 billion of us. Not just Nigeria or Zimbabwe or Zambia or Namibia or Jamaica or Trinidad and Tobago, right? Guyana, the entire African world.
And when we
So
talked
this is
earlier
go
about
ahead, brother.
corruption, and we look at somebody like Bazoum, who was allowing the United States and France to come in and set up military bases. If you're allowing Western nations to set up military bases in your country, you haven't learned the historical relationship. You haven't learned from history what the historical relationship is between Africa, the United States, and Europe. That should be, primarily, we should never allow any of those countries to set up military bases in Africa. And Anthony Blinken just traveled there in March.
Yep.
Where he said he was going to give him another $150 million.
That's exactly what he said.
So one of their other concerns is that the new leadership will turn to Wagner for military aid and security instead of working with France and the United States. And we know the United States is not going to just take a loss in the weapons and the drones and all of the equipment that's still there.
No, we know this.
Yeah, so this could turn into another reason for them to be able to now invade that area and start more conflict.
I don't think there's any doubt about it, Brother Amos. I don't think there's any doubt about, what's likely to occur. I think we may have covered it on one of our podcasts several years ago when there was I can't remember if it was Obama or Trump that had these American troops stationed in Niger, supposedly hunting for some type of jihadist or Al Qaeda or ISIS linked organization, and some American troops actually got killed in Niger.
Yeah, I believe it was in the Trump administration.
I think you're right.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I would, like you said, according to Nick Turse, the total cost to build a base was $110 million, but to maintain it, to operate it with all of the military equipment, the high-tech drones, everything that they have there, it costs between 20 and 30 million a year to maintain the base. So this is an enormous investment, right?
And
in this country.
And geographically, it allows them a centralized location in the world to be able to drone strike different targets. So, that's a key. That would be a key loss for the United States.
Most definitely. Most definitely.